Understanding slope. Whoops, excuse me. Understanding slope. You can use slope to describe the steepness of an incline or a hill. The steepness of a ramp is the ratio of the vertical change to the horizontal change. So how much something goes up over how much something goes across. In math, slope is a number that describes the steepness of a line. Now, whenever my daughter and son and I did a cross-country trip, we always didn't like seeing signs like the one that you see over here on the right, because that tells you that the slope is 10%. Okay? 10% doesn't seem like much, but what it means is that for every 1 meter that you go across, you're going to be going up 10 meters, which is very steep. Okay, so slope is very useful. It tells these truckers that they need to use a lower gear because it's going to be going down very fast in this situation. Or for people coming from the other direction, it's going to be very steep coming up. One of the things you're going to have to work with in dealing with slope is the coordinate plane. So let's review that. I'm sure that you've seen it before, but let's review. The axis that goes across is called the x-axis, and the axis that goes up and down is called the y-axis. Okay? And whenever, let me get my marker. Whenever you go to the right, that is positive. Okay? And whenever you go to the left, that is negative. Okay? Whenever you go up, that is positive, and whenever you go down, that is negative. Okay, once again, to the right, positive, to the left, negative, up, positive, down, negative. And this is called the coordinate plane, and you've got a y-axis that goes up and down, and an x-axis that goes left and right. Now, slope, as I told you, was the vertical change over the horizontal change. So let's look at this line right here and see what the slope of this line is. It's this green line, and I told you that it is the vertical change over the horizontal change. Now, what you have to do, let me get a different color. What you have to do is you find a starting point that is at a cross section of these lines. It's very difficult to start in the middle somewhere, so you find one that is at a cross section of the lines, and you go until you find another one that is a cross section of the lines, and you see how much does it go up. Well, it goes up 1, so we put 1, and on the bottom we put how much it goes across. It goes across 1, 2. So our slope of this line is 1 over 2, or 1/2. Now let's look at it in a different way. Slope is also the change in the y-coordinates over the change in the x-coordinates. Okay? The y-coordinates are how much it goes up and down. Over the x-coordinates is how much it goes left and right. So the first coordinate is -1, -2. Let's look how we got that. This is our starting point. Let me get a marker here. This is our starting point. It's called the origin. It's called 0, 0 because it is 0 up and 0 down. It is 0 to the left and 0 to the right. So we call that 0, 0, the origin. It's where everything originates. So you start here, and it says -1. So that means you went left 1. -2 means you went down 2. And that's how you got to this starting point. Okay? So that first point is -1, -2. This is the x-coordinate. This is the y-coordinate. And let's erase that now. And come back over here. And we go to this coordinate. And how did we get that coordinate? We went 1 to the right, and we went 1 down. 1 to the right means a +1, And 1 down means a negative 1. So that coordinate is 1, negative 1. So now we come up here and we look at this. Oh, let's fix this, if we can. So we've got change in y coordinates over the change in the x coordinates. How much did the y coordinates change? So we put negative 2 minus negative 1, negative 2 minus negative 1 over negative 1, there's the negative 1, minus positive 1. And that gives us negative 2 plus 1, because negative negative makes positive, over 1, negative 1 minus negative 1 gives us negative 2. Different signs, get the difference between the two numbers and keep the sign of the bigger number. So that gives us negative 1 over negative 2, which is positive 1 over positive 2. And our slope is 1/2, which is the same thing we got on the previous slide. So that's very comforting to know that we got it right. Let's try another one. What is this coordinate right here? Remember, we start right here. We don't go left, we don't go right, so that means our x coordinate is going to be 0. We go down 1, 2, 3. So that means our y coordinate is going to be negative 3. So the coordinate of this point is 0, negative 3. The coordinate of this point, the coordinates of this point, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the right. So that means it's going to be 7. We go down 1, 2. So that will be a negative 2. So the coordinates of this point will be 7 and negative 2. Now let's find the slope of this point, the slope of this line. So what you do is you take, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's move this. We can't move it just right now. So what we'll do is we'll use black. And we go, this is going to be the first, the y minus the y here. So that's negative 3 minus a minus 2 over 0 minus 7. It's always going to be minus, okay? So then that gives us negative 3 plus 2, because minus minus makes positive, over negative 7. And that gives us negative 1 over negative 7, which gives us 1 over 7. So let's check. We went up 1, and we went right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 over 7. Alrighty, take a second, see if you can figure out what the coordinates of this are, of these 2 points, this point, and then pause the video, and then come back and see if you understand what we're doing, okay? Pause the video. Okay, let's see what you got. Did you get negative 1, negative 2, and 7, negative 3? If you didn't, let's follow along and see how we got it. This point, we start here at the origin, and we go 1 to the left. So that gives us negative 1. Then we go down 1, 2. Down means negative, so that's a negative 2. This point, we start at the origin, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the right. That's a positive 7. Then we go down 1, 2, 3. That's a negative 3. Okay, so now that we've got the points, what I want you to do is find the slope. Find the slope of this line, doing it both ways that we've done it so far, by counting and also by the formula that we've been using. Pause the video. Okay, so let's try one more time here and see how we do. this was negative 2 minus a minus 3 over negative 1 minus 7. So that gives us negative 2 minus minus gives us plus over negative and 1 and negative 7 makes same signs, so we get the sum, or we add them together, and that gives us 8, and we keep the sign. Negative 3 and negative 2 and positive 3 gives us 1 over negative 8. And let's check over here. It goes down 1, which would be negative 1, and it goes to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, let's look at this now. We've got 1 over negative 8 and negative 1 over 8. Is that the same thing? One negative sign makes something negative. One negative sign makes something negative. So that's the same as 1/8 negative. And look at this. If you use this one, and you started here, and it told you to go up 1 and to the left 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You would get the same place. Okay, so it doesn't matter where the negative sign is, you're going to get the same line. Okay, as long as the negative sign is in there and you use it on one of the two, and not both of them, but one of the two, then you'll be okay. So it doesn't matter where the negative sign is, it's the same answer. All right, try this one. Pause the video, try this one, and then come back to me. All right. Did you get negative 1, 3, and 1, negative 1? See, it goes negative 1, that's to the left, and up 1, 2, 3. Up is positive. And then we went 1 to the right, that's positive, and 1 down, that's negative. So here we go. Getting the slope, we go 3 minus a minus 1 over negative 1 minus 1 gives us 3 plus 1 over negative 2, which gives us 4 over negative 2, which gives us 2 over negative 1. So our slope is really negative 2, and you just got to know that it's 2 over negative 1. So let's check. We start here, and we go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go left 1, 2. See, so that was 4 over negative 2, which is what we had right there. So we confirmed our answer. Oh my goodness, what is this? Well, what I wanted to show you is when we've been doing this, lines that start low and go high have a positive slope. So these two have a positive slope, which means that this one has a negative slope. Okay, let's look back here and see. See, this one started high and went low, and it had a negative slope. This one started high and went low, and it had a negative slope. This one started low and went high, and it had a positive slope. Now, what about lines that just go straight across? Well, let's think about this now for a second. Let's figure it out. What kind of slope will it have? We've got a point of 0, 1, 2. So that's 0, 2. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, and 1, 2 up. So that's 5, 2. So let's do the slope of that line. Come on. All right, so we've got our, let me get this. All right, so we've got 2 minus 2 over 0 minus 5, which gives us 0 over negative 5, which is 0. So the slope of a horizontal line is 0. That's because it doesn't go up. See, it goes up 0, and it goes to the right 5. So the slope of a horizontal line is going to be 0. What about a vertical line? Well, it can't be 0 because the horizontal line was 0. So let's figure out what it is. So we start out with what the point is, and we start here, and it goes to the left 1, and it goes down 2. Left 1, down 2. And then on the top up here, it goes left 1 and up 1, 2, 3. So it goes left 1 and up 3. So let's do the slope on it. So we go -2 minus 3 over -1 minus a minus 1. That gives us -5 over -1, and this becomes positive. -1 plus 1 gives us 0. Do you remember what it means when you have 0 on the bottom? Division by 0 is undefined. It's impossible. So you would write, this has an undefined slope. Vertical lines have an undefined slope. So lines that start lines that start low and rise high have a positive slope. Lines that start high and go low have a negative slope. Horizontal lines, a 0 slope, and vertical lines, an undefined slope.